A Southern Kentucky mother receives news over the weekend that her son, serving the U.S. Navy in Virginia, was shot and killed during a robbery attempt.
Coming up, we'll take you to Frankfort, inside the Emergency Operations Center, as state agencies manage the wildfires burning across the state.
How scammers are targeting older Americans and what you can do to help stop it.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
A Kentuckian who was serving the U.S. Navy was shot and killed in Virginia over the weekend. Michael Rather was born in Kentucky and most recently was stationed on the USS George H.W. Bush in Norfolk.
He was shot and killed Saturday in what police are calling a robbery. WKYT's Phil Pendleton talked with Rather's mother about the loss. It's our top story at 5:30.
Oftentimes, that phone call in the middle of the night will carry some bad news, and that was certainly the case for a Somerset woman early Saturday morning. The person on the other end of the line was calling her from Norfolk, Virginia, telling her that her son had just been shot during a robbery attempt in Norfolk, Virginia. Those with him tried to save his life after 25-year-old Michael Rather was shot about 3 o'clock Saturday morning.
She recognized Michael's friend who stayed with him and gave him CPR.
Police say Rather was the victim of a targeted robbery. He grew up in a military family and decided to follow in their footsteps and join the Navy. He leaves behind a wife and 2 small children, one of them who had a birthday on the day that Rather was killed.
He's just a really great guy. He had a contagious smile and laugh.
Police in Norfolk are still investigating. They say they do not have any suspects. All they know, the description that they have, is a person in a dark hooded sweatshirt. Funeral arrangements here in Pulaski County are still pending. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Rather's mother says she believes her son was in the wrong place at the wrong time when he was shot.
16 major forest fires are burning in 9 counties in Kentucky, and with dry weather in the forecast, firefighters say they have their work cut out for them. Officials are coordinating their efforts from the State Emergency Operations Center. WKYT's Mike Linden is on fire watch in Frankfort.
As wildfires continue to burn across the bluegrass state, emergency officials from around Kentucky are in Frankfort, inside the Emergency Operations Center, coordinating efforts to stop the fires.
State officials say since October 29th, more than 11,000 acres of land across Kentucky has burned.
This is a big fire event. We haven't had an activation for a woodland fire event since 2001.
With 16 major fires burning across the state, most of which are in southeastern Kentucky, emergency officials have called upon the help of the National Guard to assist in fighting the fires from the air.
We are doing everything we can on a minute-by-minute basis almost, so that we will respond to prevent fires from combining, to manage fires that are existing, and to move personnel throughout the state as needed.
As firefighters battle the flames from all angles, state officials are confident in one unfortunate truth this time of year.
Unfortunately, every single year, this year is not an exception, too many fires are caused by arson.
State emergency officials say as long as there are counties in need of assistance across Kentucky, that the EOC will continue to operate 24 hours a day. In Frankfort, Mike Linden, WKYT.
As of this afternoon, 52 counties across this state have issued a burn ban. Deer hunting season in Kentucky starts on Saturday, and the National Forest Service is asking hunters to take extra precautions because of the forest fires in the area. They say that campfires are currently banned outside of marked recreational areas. Portable camp stoves and lanterns are allowed.
Well, with little to no rain in the forecast, firefighters are not getting much help from Mother Nature, but we are looking at some changes, though, coming. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's here tracking the very latest for us. You are talking about some rain that might help.
Yeah, second half of tomorrow into tomorrow night, some showers will be on into much of central and eastern Kentucky, and it should give folks out there a little bit of an upper hand in dealing with those fires into southeastern Kentucky. Not a ton of rain, but I do expect rain, nonetheless, to be showing up at this time tomorrow on your Defender radar network. Right now, we've got a smoky sky into Lexington and surrounding areas of central and eastern Kentucky. Temperatures will drop through the 50s all evening long. Fair skies into most areas. You're going to smell smoke right on through the day tomorrow. Clouds are increasing across the western part of the state. That's ahead of a little area of low pressure that is right along the cold front that is separating the mild air that we had today against the chilly air that is coming in from the west. That will be on top of us as we go into the day tomorrow. And again, second half of tomorrow into tomorrow night, some folks will get in on a drink of water into central and eastern Kentucky. So that is certainly long overdue. It's not going to put an end to the overall forest fire threat, but it will help out. Shower threat will increase second half of tomorrow. Midweek chilly blast is on the way. Nothing, though, compared to what I'm tracking for the upcoming weekend. It's about time we had some cold shots, and we will detail those when I get back in just a few minutes.
We have an update now on a tragic story we've been following out of eastern Kentucky, where an 11-year-old Boy Scout died while camping with his troop. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Wolfe County. Jack Rose was just among 20 scouts camping when a dead tree fell and landed on his tent with him inside. It happened near Chimney Top Rock. That's a popular spot to camp in the Red River Gorge in Wolfe County. The tree hit Jack in the head, killing him instantly. Officials with the Boy Scouts of America have released a statement after Jack's death, and they say, "We will do all we can to support the family of this young man. We'll be offering grief counseling to our members and volunteers." Jack was part of Troop 30 out of Louisville. 3 people are dead after a crash in Bell County. That crash involving a car and a coal truck happened about 1:30 this afternoon on US 25 East. Commercial vehicle enforcement tells us that the coal truck was parked on the side of the road and the car ran into it. A man, a woman, and a child in the car all died. No names have been released. The highway is still blocked. A Perry County man is dead after an ATV crash early Sunday. Officials say that 21-year-old Tyler Fugit was driving an ATV near the Knott Perry County line when he drove off an embankment. He was taken to the hospital in Hazard, where he later died. Fugit was a student at Bluegrass Community and Technical College. He was a full-time employee with Kelly Services in Georgetown.
Lexington police are looking into what caused a fire at a new adult daycare this afternoon. Firefighters were called to the facility on the corner of Armstrong Mill Road and Appian Way just after noon. We're told today was the first day the facility was fully operational. It used to be a child care facility.
The staff done an excellent job getting everybody out. They were all out before our arrival, and so kudos to those folks.
Investigators believe the fire started outside the building. Our news partners at the Herald Leader report that police have taken one person into custody. No word on any charges.
What would you do with $30 million? Makes your head spin just thinking about the possibilities. And that's exactly what some scammers are counting on. How were they able to trick a respected Harvard-educated lawyer with their scheme?
This brilliant lawyer, someone who I've looked up to my whole life, could fall for something like this.
Michael DeGuerin is still stunned that his Harvard-educated father-in-law is mixed up in a lottery sweepstakes scam.
We had noticed that he had started getting a bunch of mail that had to do with cruises and getting gold coins. Some of it started becoming things like, you may have won this.
The 85-year-old retired attorney and recent widower was told he won $30 million in a new car. All he needed to do was pay the taxes, and he did.
Bankers started calling us saying that he was taking out large sums of money from his bank account.
He had withdrawn more than $50,000 from his retirement funds. When DeGuerin realized what was happening, he sat his father-in-law down and told him it was a scam.
I figured if he realized it was a fraud, that he would stop. A year later, it was still happening, but he had gone and he kind of hid it.
Frustrated, DeGuerin began digging and realized just how manipulative these fraudsters can be.
They changed his cell phone number. They changed his home number.
They got his personal information and changed his phone accounts. They also sent a cab to his house if he didn't answer the phone.
What scares me is that they're sending people to his home.
They're having day-to-day interaction or even sometimes hourly interaction with this person.
Postal inspectors say it's important for adult children to start the difficult conversation with loved ones.
Monitoring of bills and savings and checking accounts and even retirement accounts, paying a particular attention to large amounts of money being withdrawn or being wire transferred or moved around from various accounts. I think that is a way to open the door to the conversation.
Michael DeGuerin has decided to move his father-in-law from the community he has lived in all of his life to the state he and his family live in to monitor him more closely. Postal inspectors want to remind you that no legitimate lottery will ask for money to be paid up front in order to receive a prize.
Students at a Lexington elementary school participated in a mock election today. Coming up, we'll let you know who won.
I'm Bill Bryant. The battle for control of the Kentucky House. Republicans hope to erase a 6-seat advantage for Democrats tomorrow and take over the chamber for the first time in nearly a century. On this election eve, the bottom line is ahead.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Kentucky Republicans are trying to take control of the Kentucky House of Representatives for the first time in nearly a century. And Democrats are hoping to elect a U.S. Senator.
Bill Bryant has the bottom line.
Good evening. On this election eve, Kentucky voters are ready to file into the polls starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. One of the biggest battles in the Commonwealth is for control of the Kentucky State House of Representatives. That contest will be played out district by district around the state. Democrats have controlled the chamber since 1921. Republicans hope to end that 95-year reign tomorrow. Right now, there are 53 Democrats and 47 Republicans, and it's the only legislative chamber in the South under Democratic control. The Speaker's gavel is now in the hands of longtime lawmaker Greg Stumbo of Prestonsburg, who has his own local race to win as he watches the overall House battle. Just below the presidential race tomorrow, voters will find Kentucky's hard-fought contest for the U.S. Senate. Republican incumbent Rand Paul made several stops around the state today, along with his wife Kelly. He's been alongside local GOP leaders at most stops along the way. Paul is trying to win a second term in Washington. His Democratic challenger, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, has been on a whirlwind campaign blitz as well, taking him from Pikeville to Paducah today. Former Governor Steve Beshear is accompanying Gray at all of his stops. Gray will wrap up with a rally in downtown Lexington this evening. That is scheduled for 7.
We've got a lot of momentum, and we're feeling really good about where we are. So it's great to be here in coal country. This is where we know that there's a lot of work to do, and that's what I'm committed to. I'm committed to working to create jobs.
There's a clear contrast in vision between them and us. We want small constitutional government that defends the country. Its primary priority above all other priorities is to defend the country.
The last time a Democrat won a Kentucky U.S. Senate seat was longtime Senator Wendell Ford's final victory back in 1992. In central Kentucky, Republican Congressman Andy Barr has run lots of ads critical of his challenger, who is a first-time candidate. Barr is moving around the 6th District today. And Democratic challenger Nancy Jo Kemper gathered with volunteers in Fayette County this morning before heading out to canvass and urge supporters to turn out tomorrow. She says the response to her message has been good. 2 appeals court judges are squaring off for a spot on the state Supreme Court. Glenn Acree and Larry Van Meter face off tomorrow. There are some other judicial races and local council or commission races in cities around the state. The Secretary of State projects a 60% turnout tomorrow, but she says she hopes it's higher. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Thank you, Bill. Students at Mill Creek Elementary in Lexington had the chance for an election spirit today with a mock election.
Teachers say they hope the conversation in the classroom helps teach students about important issues in the community and that they have a voice on the issues. And we have just received the results of Mill Creek's mock election. Hillary Clinton winning with 49% of the vote to Donald Trump, who got 36%, and Gary Johnson receiving 13% at Mill Creek today.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Absolutely smoky skies across much of central and eastern Kentucky today. We've been setting the stage for what we thought would be a bad forest fire season. Wet summer with a lot of extra growth, and all of a sudden the fall turned dry as a bone. End result, what you see there on that Jackson cam. Look at all the smoke filling the skies, and boy, oh boy, if you suffer from respiratory issues, doesn't matter if you're in eastern Kentucky, if you're in the bluegrass area, you can smell smoke out there. This is a pattern to where over the next 24 hours you want to just maybe limit your time outdoors because of all the smoke in the air. Winds are fairly light, but the flow has been bringing the smoke from those fires into southeastern Kentucky on into parts of central and northern Kentucky. Flow today has actually been taking some of that all the way into parts of southern Indiana and southern Ohio. We could use some rain. It's not out there now, but I think tomorrow at this time I'll be tracking rain into the region, coming from a little weak area of low pressure right on top of a cold front. So the milder air out ahead of this front clashing with the chillier air behind it. And that little spin may be right on top of the Ohio Valley about this time tomorrow evening. So we will notice the threat for a shower late on your election day. That will begin to ramp up, and by tomorrow evening, gusty showers will be on the move. Not a ton of rain. We'll take whatever we can get. Each and every drop of it is certainly in need right now. 66 around midday, and from there we'll drop it off. So your election day forecast will feature smoke in the air, late day showers developing. Wednesday morning, we're likely to start out soggy with some raindrops around. Afternoon may try to brighten the skies up a little bit, but I'll tell you, those clouds on Wednesday may be awfully pesky. It's a windy and a chilly day, and a seasonal chill that will carry us into the day on Thursday. Rainfall numbers continue to target parts of southeastern Kentucky with upwards of 1/3 of an inch possible. That would go a long way if we can. What we need is just a nice little band of rain to settle its way on into southeastern Kentucky. And if you look closely enough at those totals, it is suggesting the southeastern corner has the better chance of that. Colder air comes in behind this. We'll wake up to low 30s. Let's go long range on this hour by hour. Into Thursday afternoon, the 50s will be around. Thursday night into Friday, winds are going to gust up as we get another cold front into town. But again, it's 50s again Friday afternoon. That cold front arrives as we go into Friday night and Saturday. So we'll start the day in the 30s. Look at how we end your Saturday. In the 40s for highs, and by Saturday evening already close to freezing by the time 11 o'clock rolls around. That extended forecast, Veterans Day looking really good right now with a gusty wind as clouds increase ahead of that front that will usher in the coldest air of the fall season so far. Not that that's saying a whole heck of a lot so far this fall. Tomorrow evening's rains, keep your fingers crossed, we'll get the greatest concentration into southeastern Kentucky.
But you cannot use that rain as an excuse tomorrow about getting to the polls.
Right, because most
for
6
sure.
a.m. to 6 p.m. is mainly dry.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Live look at Lexington rush hour traffic. Still working the crash at Georgetown and Sandersville. That has at least one lane blocked, an injury collision there. And they're still trying to clean up a little problem we had at Manowar and Richmond Road. Looks like a truck lost some of its load there that's causing some issues. Drive times to Versailles, still less than 12 minutes, about 13 or so to Nicholasville. Now back to the studio.
Thank you, Don. And just ahead, the Cats getting ready to head down to Tennessee, Rob.
Well, the Vols will be without another player when they take on Kentucky Saturday afternoon, and it was a tough loss. But Mark Stoops says he is jacked up and juiced as this week starts. Stay with us. Sports is next. The Wildcats still have a lot to play for. They need just one more win to become bowl eligible, and they remain in contention in the SEC East. Now, it's a tough road as Kentucky gets ready to go to Tennessee this weekend. Saturday night was not easy. A last-second field goal sailing through the uprights to give Georgia a victory. Mark Stoops said today he's not concerned about his players bouncing back and being ready to go for practice.
I'm not. I'm jacked up and ready to go. I really am. You know, I'm not going to lie. It's a hard locker room after that game. You know, of course it is. And it's not an easy Sunday. That's it. 24 hours, man. Let's move on. I'm juiced up and ready to go. About my 4th cup of coffee.
Mark Stoops saying his team remains confident even with such a tough loss over the weekend. And he elaborated on what he said Saturday night about his players on both sides lacking an edge.
You know, I talk about it all the time. Under extreme pressure, your habits are going to come straight to the surface. And we're getting better habits in the focus. You know, in big moments, we missed a couple opportunities. You watch football, nobody's perfect. We gave ourselves a great opportunity to win that game.
Stoops referred to it as fanatical focus, where his team came up just short. But in no way does he question his players' effort.
Look at where we've come. Look at how far this team has grown. We played 6 games and 1 bye week. In 7 weeks, this team has come a long way. And that doesn't come without an edge and an attitude. And they've done that. Their effort is right. I've told you once, I've told you 100 times. Their hearts and their minds are in the right place, have I not? So when I talk about edge, I'm not talking about, effort.
And it'll be an early wake-up call Saturday down at Tennessee. Noon start at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. It'll be televised by the SEC Network. Tennessee, by the way, will be without defensive back and star kick returner Evan Berry this weekend. Butch Jones announcing earlier today that Berry will miss the remainder of the season with a knee injury. Berry started 3 games this season, had 12 tackles. He averaged almost 33 yards per kickoff return, and that ranks second among FBS players. In the next half hour, we'll look back on what happened last night at Rupp Arena. Stay with us.